Hey guys, what's up? Here we have the Maze Blade for review today, and to be honest, the Maze Blade has specs that I've seen countless times before. MTK6753, 3 gigs of RAM, 5.5 inch screen, 32 gig eMMC, and Android 6.0 Marshmallow. So let's jump right into the review. And before we start, I want to talk about the connectivity, and this is because I was not able to get my SIM cards to work in this phone. I checked the network bands, and it should work, so I think I just got a faulty device, but I reviewed the rest of the phone as is. The blade is made out of metal and glass. The phone is actually pretty light for such a big phone, and the phone feels pretty fine in the hands. The glass is basically a mirror finish and is more reflective than the front of the phone, but also attracts fingerprints like crazy. So my least favorite thing about the phone is how big it is. The top and the bottom bezels are so big that this phone is really not that nice looking from the front. One more thing is that the back and menu buttons are switched, so I keep on hitting the wrong button whenever I want to hit back or menu. The screen here is not bad. It's a 1080p panel that does its job well. Colors are fairly vivid and vibrant, nothing special but good enough. I do have a complaint about the screen, and that is how it feels. It feels really cheap, almost like plastic, and there's actually some flex when you press too hard on the screen. That being said, touch sensitivity is actually okay. It just doesn't feel nice to touch. Audio here is fine. Audio volume is a bit above average. It does pump out some pretty good sound. Audio quality is below average. There is zero bass, and audio is pretty unclear as well. It is still good enough for like basic TV shows and music, but it's not that great in experience.
Back in my day, goblins didn't wear masks. No, he looked you in the eye before we stabbed you in the back. Get dang long! Back in my day, wood didn't put up a fight. When you chopped it, it said thank you. Then you chop it again for talking back. Back in my day, we didn't have these fancy arenas, and we didn't even have pants. We've only been fighting in here.
Here we have a 3000 mAh battery that has trouble keeping the phone powered throughout an entire day, especially if you use the phone heavily. I got about 3 hours of screen on time before the battery hit 12%, mostly web browsing, some social media, and some YouTube as well, so even medium users might have a tough time here. Moving on to the software, we have Android 6.0 Marshmallow completely stock, which is nice. It also has the same Maze logo background, which is a little bit unique. The phone is smooth enough, about the same as most other MTK6753 phones, but this is not very high praise, obviously. Multitasking is not bad. You have 3 gigs of RAM. It's harder to fill the RAM up, but it is possible. In terms of gaming, you can play the most intense games without stutter, which is nice. This old chip still can drive some pretty intense games. The fingerprint sensor is pretty slow and not very accurate either, so I don't really use it much, and I turn it off after a while. The rear camera here is okay. It's 13 megapixels and it can take some okay photos in bright light, but it is more difficult to take nice photos than more expensive phones. Low light is obviously bad. Moving on to the front camera, it's not that great. No, it's not absolutely horrible, but it's pretty bad. The video quality is also not that great. Detail is the main problem here. Colors actually look fine. To be honest, the Maze Blade is a pretty tough sell. The specs are not amazing for the price, and you can get a lot of other better phones for the same price, like the Verni Thor or even the Redmi 4A. This phone does have a couple of issues. First, it's very big for how small the screen is, and the battery is average at best, and the camera is also pretty weak. That being said, let me know what you think down in the comments down below. Likes and subs would be awesome, and I'll see you guys in the next one.